The financial and social strain of burial and traditional funeral ceremonies in Igbo land is becoming a major concern, according to His Royal Majesty Igwe Ambassador Dr. Lawrence O.C. Agabozo, CFR. The elder statesman and respected traditional ruler raised the issue during a lecture delivered at the just concluded Fourth Synod of the Catholic Diocese of Enugu held at the Jubilee Hall of the Holy Ghost Cathedral, Enugu. Speaking on the theme burial and traditional funeral ceremonies in Igbo land and their burden on the people, Igwe Agobozo traced the evolution of funeral practices from pre-Christian times to the present. He highlighted how modernization, religion, and social competition have significantly altered traditional customs. Recalling pre-Christian Igbo society, he explained that burials were swift, often conducted within 1 or 2 days due to the absence of mortuaries. Death were viewed as having spiritual causes, prompting families to consult diviners rather than medical experts. Burials were classified based on social status, with home burials for prominent persons, communal grounds for married or disadvantaged individuals, and even forests for criminals or those believed to have died abominably. Lavish second burials were traditionally reserved for traditional or successful individuals, although early missionaries condemned some practices, including alleged human sacrifices. Igwe Agobos noted that Christianity helped eliminate discrimination and dehumanizing burial rites, particularly those involving evil forests. Over time, population growth and migration contributed to the decline of village cemeteries, while modern mortuaries allowed families to delay funerals for extended periods, a factor now contributing to rising burial costs. Modernity has influenced a lot of changes in Igbo funeral rites, the monarch observed. He expressed concern over the growing culture of funerals for the living, where families stage elaborate ceremonies to display wealth and social status, often beyond their means. He condemned practices such as prolonged mortuary stays, house constructions, or renovation to meet burial standards, and the emerging first and second burials into extravagant events. Highlighting a recent example, he cited a high-profile burial where 200 cows were reportedly donated, describing it as inactive, as indicative of the trend. These displays place a huge burden on middle and lower-income families, he warned, noting that many now take loans to fund burials of relatives who died in poverty. Efforts to curb excessives are underway. Several Igbo communities have shortened burial durations and abolished oppressive widowhood practices or rites. The Catholic Church has also introduced regulations limiting how long a corpse may remain in a mortuary. Onitsha Donidu's decision to abolish second burials for Christians was cited as a model worth emulating. The Obi of Onitsha, His Royal Majesty Igwe Nnameka Alfred Achabe, has repeatedly condemned ostentatious funeral displays, emphasizing the protection of families with modern means. In his own Ezema Olo kingdom, Igwe Agobozo revealed that practices that demean widows, such as sleeping beside corpses or compulsory head shaving, have been abolished. He also warned against the emergence of committees of friends exploiting funerals to collect money fraudulently via social media. The monarch called for a return to traditional values, encouraging families to conduct burials within their means while allowing voluntary contributions from well-wishers. He urged the diocese to update regulations that balance cultural identity with Christian values, reduce financial pressure on families, and discourage extravagant spending. This paper will consider its mission accomplished, he concluded, if it contributes to resolving emerging challenges that impede the advancement of Christian burial practices in the diocese. From the tiniest cells to the farthest galaxies, life holds secrets we are only beginning to uncover. Why are we here? What connects us all? What unseen forces shape our destiny? Join Professor Jude Udenta as he explores the wonders, the questions, and the revelations that define existence. Mysteries of life, where every answer sparks a new discovery. Watch now on Aneke TV every Monday. The financial and social strain of burial and traditional funeral ceremonies in Igbo land is becoming a major concern, according to His Royal Majesty Igwe Ambassador Dr. Lawrence O.C. Agabozo, CFR. The elder statesman and respected traditional ruler raised the issue during a lecture delivered at the just concluded Fourth Synod of the Catholic Diocese of Enugu held at the Jubilee Hall of the Holy Ghost Cathedral, Enugu. Speaking on the theme Burial and Traditional Funeral Ceremonies in Igbo Land and their burden on the people, Igwe Agobozo traced the evolution of funeral practices from pre-Christian times to the present. He highlighted how modernization, religion, and social competition have significantly altered traditional customs. Recalling pre-Christian Igbo society, he explained that burials were swift, often conducted within 1 or 2 days due to the absence of mortuaries. Death were viewed as having spiritual causes, prompting families to consult diviners rather than medical experts. Burials were classified based on social status, with home burials for prominent persons, communal grounds for married or disadvantaged individuals, and even forests for criminals or those.
Good morning and thank you for joining us today on The Insight. Remember, The Insight is that program where we bring to you habits of issues, topical headlines that help in shaping our nation. However, before I go into today's issues, let us first of all apologize for that break in transmission for bringing up this program very late to you. This morning, we'll be discussing preparation for Christmas. And with us to give deep insight to this issue is the Executive Director of Hope Givers Initiative, Mrs. Aneke Udebunam.
Good morning, viewers, and thanks for listening or viewing.
All right. You know, as Nigeria faces severe economic hardship, this Christmas 2025 mothers the burden of festive tradition amid soaring food and fuel prices lays on the shoulder mostly of mothers. The annual push to celebrate often sparks debt and moral dilemmas, putting family joy against survival. Inflation slashes rise, often outfits and travel yield tied into austerity. Children crave glamour, clashing with empty budgets, heightening emotional tools. Social pressure erodes Christmas core of faith and contentment over materialism. And this morning, ma, thank you for speaking with us and then for bearing with us.
You're welcome.
Yes, despite the challenges that we faced as a nation, talk about the economy, talk about security challenges, one was thinking that getting to this period in the year, that a lot of us wouldn't see the drums being rolled out. But the way we're seeing it is as if preparations are in top gear. What is Christmas all about, ma, first of all?
There is no way the drums will not be rolled out because of the reason for the season. I mean, Christ is the reason for the season. At this point, Christ, we celebrate the birth of Christ. And especially in the Southeast, what Christ means to a whole lot of us is the reason why we're living, the reason for survival. I mean, there is no big deal about Christmas because I keep asking people, Christmas is about happiness, about joy, that a child was given to us. It's not about rice. Because I've been asking people, is there any other way that Christmas rice is cooked? Is there a special rice for Christmas? Is there a special meat? What? I mean, it's still the same food you eat from January to December. So, but the celebration, the thought that the reason why we are alive is for Christ.
Okay.
And he's the one that is still keeping us. So, I believe people should actually be happy rolling out the drums. Why? Yes, things are difficult. Economic situation in the country has gone haywire. But people will be happy. Why? Because a lot of people are already in the grave. A lot of people are in the hospital. And so if you are alive to celebrate this Christmas, you have every cause to roll out the drums. With the number of people kidnapped, the number of people that have died this year, and the sufferings of people, and you are healthy, I mean, you have every reason to celebrate Christmas. You will still eat the rice. Okay. There is nobody goes to anybody's house to say, let me taste your rice, to see what it tastes like. The truth of the matter is that the reason for the season is the reason why we're rolling out the drums. It is only those who do not even actually know the reason for the season. You find them going to steal. You find them going the extra mile. And you'll be wondering, what's going on? You find people like drivers. As we speak, fuel has not increased. Spare parts have not increased. At least dollar that even my mama in the village, where they plant cassava, will tell you that dollar has risen. Dollar did not rise. Yet the cost of transportation has gone up because of Christmas. And most of the time our people are to be blamed because you keep running helter-skelter. You see people going to bring out their old, I don't know what they call it now, but before we call them Volkswagen, that has not been used in years, all in a bid to take them home to announce that we have arrived. But those things are not necessary.
Okay.
The joy of Christmas is that we are alive.
Okay.
The joy of Christmas is that our families are healthy. Even those in the hospital, they are better than those in the mortuary. They are better than those that have gone 6 feet.
Okay. Very apt. The joy of Christmas is that we are alive. And we are to celebrate. At least you've laid that point that yes, there's need for celebration. But I asked that question against this backdrop that last year, the previous years, we've been celebrating. But when you get to, for example, we're in 2025, despite the economic crunch, though recognizable across board, you still see people wanting to go out of their way to see that they celebrate. And must we celebrate in that light?
Yes, in that light we must celebrate, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
The kids who usually you buy Christmas clothes for, they don't understand what you're talking about. You cannot, you have a child. Are you going to tell the child that things are difficult, that he's not going to eat? So you find parents trying to make their children happy. You find children trying to parents trying to make their children happy. Like I said, it depends on your perspective. But going the extra mile, because people go out of their ways to borrow. Some go out of their ways to steal. Some even forget that January is very close. That the difference between Christmas and school fees is barely 1 or 2 weeks. That's the truth. Christmas and January school fees is barely 2 weeks. So it's just about people. Celebration does not mean you will not cut your clothes, no longer according to your size, but according to your clothes.
All right.
Because if you start trying to cut according to your size, well, your clothes may not be enough. So you cut according to your clothes. So celebration is celebration. Celebration does not mean going to like I keep saying, is there any separate way of cooking rice? It is still the same Sunday rice.
Yeah. Yes, it's still the same Sunday rice. But,
Yes.
when we were small and growing up in the village, you see that we eat the normal rice, but there's this kind of way they fry that very rice this period. Yeah, but rightly, you've pointed out it depends on perspective.
Yes.
But again, I want to ask, still on this burden, it seems to be heavily on mothers. As a mother, do you agree with me on that? You have to, even if there's no money at home, you have to see that yes, rice is eaten that day. Like you've mentioned the children, you see that the burden of trying to get new clothes for the children rests squarely on mothers.
I do not completely agree, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
A lot of men go through hell to provide for the family. The truth is that the mother is the one that interfaces with the children. And in the situation we find ourselves currently in Nigeria, it is no longer a situation where you fold back your hands for one person to provide. The men provide, the women provide. But the women are the ones now managing. Because she understands, for instance, that children will wear clothes.
Sorry. You said something now. The women are now the ones managing.
Yes.
Okay.
The fact that they are managing does not usually mean that they are the ones that provide the resources. Some do provide, but for me, whether it's the woman that provides or the man, the important thing is that the family provides. Because the truth of the matter is that when you said I do, what it means is that you have left your parents, you have cleaved to the man, and you have become one. So whoever provides at any point in time should be able to, you should be able to always project yourself as one. There is no division. The parents are providing. After all, most homes you find the men going to pay house rent. Is it because most of the time we do not talk about house rent? But it is the woman, because it's the way she's wired. Ndị Igbo sịrị na ekele ọlụ eke, meaning there is division of labor. It is the woman's responsibility to know how to manage the home, how to manage what is available, how to ensure